It is still iBrand Daybreak, and we're moving up to Star Corner directly. And the first star that we have with us this morning is Babaseun Faseru. He is an actor, TV presenter, a host, so many things. Shah just put camera in front of him and he's good. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, my greatest pleasure, and thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Babaseun. Give us a brief background of who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Babaseun Faseru, from Osun State, Ijebu-Jesha to be precise. So I'm an Ijesha man. All right. A graduate of accounting, moved to teaching. I spent some time teaching, and then moved into acting. You know, and I mean that has been the journey so far. Yeah, I did. I did teaching for a couple of years.
Is it just because of NYSC, or like you did real time?
No, I did real-time teaching. I did it for a long time. Like, I mean, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. At some point, I told myself if I had a job, even at an oil company, I don't think I would go, you know. But of course, when the time came for me to focus on acting, I had to. But one thing I noticed is you'll be a very good teacher if you're an actor, because you have a way of carrying your audience along when you're teaching.
Makes sense.
You know, I think that was one of my strengths then as a teacher. So I still teach, but not as active, you know. I'm more of a consultant, more of a facilitator, you know, educational facilitator than having to be an active teacher, having to be in the classroom.
That makes sense, because teaching never stops. Actually, for a real teacher knows that teaching never stops.
It never stops.
Okay, so let's take the conversation down to acting. So from teaching, you found yourself in acting. How did that come off for you?
Well, acting, I've always been acting has always been in me right from you know those days. But then, you know, my folks, my parents didn't want me to go into acting. They wanted something professional. But somehow, along the line when I was writing my ICANN exam, I found myself in a fellowship, Pi Fellowship. So I had an opportunity to exhibit the talent I have, you know, acting and all of that. And I saw how comfortable I was with the skill. I saw how, you know, passionate I was, and from there I met with the director Tunde Olaoye, you know, because I started doing stage plays, you know, and all that. So he was my director at that time, you know, directing a stage play that I did, and at that point, you know, he started recommending me for jobs. You know, so I had my first movie, feature movie that I had to feature in a movie in 2012. That's Married but Living Single. You know, but I'd done some couple of, you know, jobs way back. That was 1995 when I was still, you know, in the Polytechnic. Because I have a cousin who studied theater arts, Dimeji Komalafe, and he wanted to do a project. So he called us. I think that was where I actually got to know that I had something in me. I had a skill, acting skill, you know, at that time. So we did like 2 movies, but I never saw it eventually, you know. So the one that I did, my professional job was in 2012 that I got paid for, and that was my first major movie, even though it was just a line that I said, just a line, you know, but the line made a lot of sense to me, you know, because I had an opportunity to meet thespians like Joker Silva, Kiki Omeli, Benjamin Joseph, Fuki Akindele, you know, and lots more, you know, as a growing or young actor, or a first-time actor, let me put it that way, but I was paid. And I was excited. So today, after that job, he recommended me for another series, and that was where I started my life with series, basically. But the first job was Married but Living Single.
So 2012, would you say that, you know, you starting off doing acting professionally?
Professionally, yeah, that's it, in 2012. And that was how it started. You know, from Married but Living Single to Needle's Eyes to Shadows, you know.
You were in Shadows.
Yeah, I was in Shadows, and I think Shadows was when I had my first girlfriend on set, like, you know, wife, who was Kende Bankole. Do you understand? At that time, you know, so I mean, I started well, thanks to God and to Tunde Olaoye, who was always recommending me, because after that Married but Living Single, I just started doing series, like almost 8 back to back. And you know, series is a family thing that people watch, people see, they sit down to see, you know. So I think that was where people started seeing, you know, the face, like this guy was here, this guy we appeared here, and blah blah blah, and until the journey got me to where I am today.
I'm going to get to part of the conversation where I say you and Maurice Sam do have a level of resemblance, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
I hear that I hear, of course, in my research that you know you've done a couple of jobs recently. Most recently, Battle on Booker Street.
Yes.
You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, Battle on Booker Street. First thing, so you know, excited to be on the job, and I would say big thank you to Funke who called me on the job, because I like it or not, it has actually raised my profile as an actor. You know, because it's such a movie that's, you know, ranked #1, you know, at the moment. I mean, and I hope it's still going to go like that for some time. And you have to feature in such a movie where you had the best of the actors on set, and of course you had to, you know, put, you know, it wasn't an ordinary movie. You know, it was, we all had to leave our comfort zone to deliver. You know, so I would say it's one of my best. You know, it's one of my best. I thank you know, God for giving me the opportunity to feature in such a movie, and I look forward to more of that.
I think one of my favorite of your movies is My Siblings and I. Maybe because it's family oriented, like you mentioned, and of course, you know that particular TV sitcom caught a lot of attention, and to think that it's still running, amazing stuff. And just tell us how that made you feel, and of course, what we should be.
Well, My Siblings and I mean, I think My Siblings and I give me a break, kind of, because everywhere I get to, I mean, you cannot imagine. You know, I just hear people call me by my name, Stanley. You know, I've got so much of attention, so much of love, hospitality, you know, from different sectors, just because of My Siblings and I. I remember you know, some time ago, maybe some 3-4 years, I went to host a show, that's Teachers Nigeria reality TV show at Abuja. You know, the moment I got to the airport, I saw how, you know, they were just like, this Stanley, you know, they helped with my luggage, you know, they took pictures, and I'm like, wow, what a great feel. You know, and of course, you know, I would say thank you as well again to Funke, because one thing I like to, you know, let people know, when you have people give you jobs, it's not that there are no other people that they could call on the job, but somehow maybe they just like your ways, maybe they just feel, they just feel, okay, this guy is putting so much into it, let me see how I can help him occupy some space. You know, because the truth still remains that I've been hardworking. You know, you talk about auditions, you talk about, you know, and I don't play with even just one role. I don't play with it. I take it like I'm the main actor, you know, and all of that. So I mean, I would say big thank you to, I mean, for her for bringing me on board for My Siblings and I. It changed my acting career. It changed the respect, you know, that I have in the industry. I can tell you that, because the moment I went into Mnet, into the multi-choice office, I wanted to submit my movie, one of the movies I produced. So I got in there, and at the reception, I just saw my picture boldly, you know, placed somewhere, and I'm like, wow, this is me. I felt so great. Okay, let me tell you another one that knocked me off. Okay, I was going to set that night, you know, so I got to a Zumba, by the way, you know, and you know all those electronic billboards. So we had terrible traffic. So there was this lady who was driving with a friend. So she wanted to come, you know, to just, and she wasn't doing any form of excuse or something. She was just trying to push herself. So I'm like, I'll show you. Okay, I was, you know, so eventually they just said, okay, I should allow them. So while we were waiting for the traffic to move, and those things, I was just taking my time, looking at the, you know, adverts, you know, flipping through, and lo and behold,
you showed up.
I saw myself. I'm like, wow. And the funny thing about it is, the moment I saw myself, you know, the other ladies too that were in the car, they got it, and they were like, and then they all started, you know, and I'm like, wow, I just couldn't get over it, you know, until I got to set, how to tell people that, man, you know, yeah, so it's such a great feel, and honestly, I don't want to leave that kind of feel.
Do you see any character that you've played taking away your name? I mean, we've seen actors in the past, like Nkemowo, Sophia had taken his name away at some point. Patience Ozoko, we knew her as Mama G for a very long time. And you just mentioned that whenever you enter a place, people will literally just call you Stanley.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you see that happening to you?
Yeah, yeah. It first happened when I did Jennifer's Diary. Soji, you know, I played the role of Soji, To Your Baby's boyfriend. And Jennifer's Diary was more local reached because of the fact that it's not Mnet, you know, so everybody had access to it, you know. Those days you could find it on NIT, you could, you know, like that. So people started calling me Soji everywhere. Soji, yeah, Soji that, Soji Bobo, you know, because Jennifer was always saying Soji Bobo. I was just like that, you know. And I thought that was just the name, basically. Until my siblings and I came, you know, and suddenly Soji just went down, not like he went down the drain, you know, but people started calling.
Cooled off,
yeah, just cooled off. But now it's just Stanley. It's just Stanley everywhere. And I'm like, okay, just whatever you're comfortable with, I'm fine.
All right. Now, we've been talking about the interesting part of this career you've chosen for yourself, the passion about it. Now, let's just move a little away from the passion. Now, let's talk about the business aspect of it. Because for as much as I understand, you must have to, you know, do something that will put bread on your table.
Definitely.
Now, I listened, or rather, I watched one of your videos that you actually put up on YouTube. I saw you expressing your emotions of how movies of today are no longer movies of back then. And I saw you mentioning a couple of movies like Isakaba, you know, Sharon Stone of Genevieve, and which other one? I'm going to remember in the course of this discussion how these movies were shot with limited resources, limited equipments, you know, and these are movies back then, like 20 years, you know, counting and all that. And you also made mention of how guys who were just making do with the little equipments they have, like the lighting guys, you know, exposed to heats and all that. Now, why is it, why can't we replicate same to our movies today? Because you mentioned how those people back then were the real movie makers. What is happening, or why is it affecting our output in our production this time?
Okay, let me put it this way. We like it or not, we have to be realistic. Nollywood has actually developed. It has improved over time. I have to tell you that, basically because of technology, basically because of exposure, you know, and more learned people in the system now. You understand, you know, people have taken their time to go get trained, and thank God for these acting schools, academies that we have. You know, that has helped a lot of people become professionals in their own way, you know. But back then, you know what gave me that love for the filmmakers of then, they had very limited resources. You know, you could see how much they were able to come up with the expression of their stories. I mean, it's amazing. Isakaba, I can't get over it. You know, I watched it way back, but I had to, you know, because I'm very local oriented. So just pardon me. So I love to go back to, you know, those days. You know, I watch Yoruba movies well. Those days, not even the recent. You know, those days. You know, just to see what those guys did that we all loved at that time. When I looked at it, I said, these guys, they're the real filmmakers. There was no money. There was nothing to actually, you know, to say they were motivated about, but the job. Because at the end of the day, Isakaba was shot. Nobody bought a Benz out of Isakaba. Nobody relocated out of Isakaba and said, I made this out of it.
And their movies were even, you know,
parented.
Yeah, exactly, and old breaking as well.
Yeah, so you can imagine, and they didn't stop at it. That's why I said they're real filmmakers. And that's why they're still in the system till today.
All right, riding on this point that you're making, because we're short of time, finally, just before we let you go.
Okay.
what would be your word to anybody out there, whether established or non-established filmmakers? What is that thing that you want everybody to carry at the back of their minds when they put out content? And what should we be expecting from Babaseun from here on?
Okay, well, okay, which one should I answer? Let me go with the first one that you asked. Yeah. I think the filmmakers of today, we should learn not to be stereotyped, you know. Let's try young hands, let's try new faces, you know, so that we don't just overuse the faces that we have. You understand? Because if you did not use them when they were upcoming, you wouldn't know how much they could deliver. So we should stop being stereotyped about our actors, filmmakers. I'm begging, because the truth of the matter is, even when you want to do your Netflix movie, you want to do your Mnet movie and all of that, they tell you they have faces they want to use just because they feel these faces will sell the market. And at the end of the day, you use them, overuse them for over 20 years, then you now go and look for, after you have used them, dumped them. Because that's the way it is over time. Because the moment you keep using the same set of people, people get tired of it. You know, and we have good actors out there that they just need that platform that you've been giving these people over and over again. So I'm just saying, try new hands, try new faces, and make sure that at least you build people up so that your name can be in their record, in their history forever. You know, so that's one. Then for me, expect I'm working on a project at the moment, and this time I'm taking it to my hometown. You know, it's actually not my project basically, but it's I've produced for the company, Astrocraft company, for two times now. You know, so we're doing another one, third one this year very soon, and this time I'm taking it to my hometown. I need to let my hometown, I need to push out the Jabdisha to the world. Do you understand? I need to let them know that the boy they made those years, you know, those years is coming back to do what exactly they have always prayed to see. Okay, so you know, that is on the line, and of course there's still lots more. And as we get Teachers Niger reality TV show, you know, I host that every year for Nigerian teachers. You know, we try to, you know, give them platform to make more money, to become millionaires. It's just like a big brother. We put them in the house, you know, and they begin to show their skills. We show it live sometimes, you know, on STV. The first one we did was on STV. The second one was on NTA. All right, this year, this is going to be the 4th season, you know, and since we started, I mean, to the glory of God, we've been able to make 9 teachers millionaires. They've been going abroad, studying there, I mean, you know, getting more exposure and all that. So we're working on that again to do this year as Teachers Nigeria reality TV show. So that is on my neck right now. And I'm looking at how to deliver again as a host differently and more interestingly.
All right, quickly, your social media handles, people want to connect with you.
Yes,
how do they reach you?
My life is very easy. Babaseun on Instagram, just Babaseun on Instagram. Facebook, Babaseun Amani Faseru. Yeah, Amani there is because of my friends in school. Most of them did not know that, they didn't know my real name, so I had to put Amani there so they would know it's me. Then on my LinkedIn, yeah, you can have Babaseun Faseru on my LinkedIn and you'll find me there.
All right, you've heard from Babaseun himself. Go ahead, follow him on Instagram. Send him DMs. He might just have a job for you. All right, it is still iBrand Daybreak. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really enjoyed this conversation. Hope you had fun.
I had fun. Thank you so much.
All right, let's keep it that way. When we return, we'll be having another star come your way. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.